Welcome back to Deep Thought. We're going through Donkey Kong Country 2, and it's a lava world.
We're gonna hop on hot heads.
Hopping on the hottest heads available.
Oh, there actually is head. Why are those crocodiles bathing in lava?
That's actually a good question.
Well, they're hot heads, so...
Their heads are hot, but their body aren't.
Yeah, where are their bodies? Are we sure they're not just floating heads? It's just in lava?
Well, there are floating heads in this game, so...
I find it ironic because aren't crocodiles cold-blooded?
Yeah.
Reptile facts.
I mean, like, a volcano is a much better place in Florida anyway.
I think it's about time we talked about the new character in this game, Dixie Kong.
You mean useless Kong?
Girl Kong?
Girl Kong. She's, I think in, like, the Donkey Kong universe, she's meant to be, Diddy Kong's girlfriend, but considering her last name is also Kong, probably means it's an incest relationship, which I personally have no problem with, but, you know, they're probably related.
Probably related. Probably is the keyword.
You mean like how Mickey and Minnie have the same last name?
Well, that's only because they have the same species last name. Kong isn't really a species name. It's associated with monkeys, but that doesn't necessarily mean that it's...
What if they're married? What if Diddy and Dixie are married?
They're probably not.
We don't know the legal age for apes.
Well, technically, Dixie's just Diddy's girlfriend, so...
If you want to be, like, more accurate, I think apes probably reach sexual maturity around 1, like most animals.
And this has been the nature documentary on Kongs. So anyway,
we're the only species who has to wait until 17 or 16.
And that was also the nature documentary on human beings. So, Dixie Kong is, I called her useless, but it does have her uses. She can hover around a bit with her ponytail, but yeah, I don't know much about like the creation of Dixie Kong, but I can assume, or at least I'd like to assume, that they essentially wanted to create...
I know the history.
Okay, well, let me put out my scenario first. Okay. I think they wanted to create Diddy 2.0, like a similar character, but something to like be his foil or something along those lines. And I think on some accounts they succeeded. She runs about as fast as Diddy Kong. However, when it comes to rolling and things like that, like her little ponytail flip, it like there's just like a slight delay in between like her doing her little twirl thing, and it just kind of messes with the flow. Like Diddy Kong doesn't have that with his cartwheel. So ultimately Diddy Kong is like the better choice, even with her low hoverability. Sorry, Dixie.
Anyway, I think the reason that they made Dixie Kong is because female journalists were really pissed off at how misogynistic Donkey Kong Country 1 was, with not having a female character, and the only female character being the slut that is Candy Kong. So rather than embrace their stereotype, which in a lot of cases is true, Rareware decided, they sent lots of angry, threatening letters to Rareware, threatening to kill Tim Stamper's family, including his brother who also worked on the game. And this was the beginning of Donkeygate.
The little known Donkeygate.
I prefer... I get it. Because it's Assgate.
Oh, that.
And basically, they decided to add this character because she's actually competent. Although not as good as Diddy, as even said. I prefer playing as Diddy. He just has the sexy ass flow. Playing as Diddy just arouses me in so many ways, and it's just feels amazing when you're kicking ass as Diddy, just rolling and shit. Then you get Dixie and her kind of delayed ponytail and her head propeller thing that only works some of the time for me. Sometimes I literally press the button and it just doesn't happen. And
yeah, that does happen sometimes.
And yeah,
Diddy Dong Country.
I still think she's a good character, though. I think she's a little better than Donkey Kong was in the first game, but that's not saying much.
Yeah.
Who do you prefer, Stefan?
I like how fast Diddy goes, but I also like that Dixie can fly.
So you're half wrong.
I don't know.
No, I think he's right in both ways. So
I'm easier to control. I like controlling people who can fly more because I'm terrible at platformers.
I can get where you're coming from, but
I like
I
having
find
that extra
Diddy's...
sense. I like having that extra sense of control.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you. Personally, though, I just prefer Diddy because I feel like I'm also terrible at platformers, but I feel with Diddy I can do almost anything just because of the way he rolls and how responsive he is. So I just prefer doing the tricky stuff as Diddy a lot of the time, and usually Dixie is my my backup character.
I just have some trouble with Diddy's roll. Like sometimes I'll try doing it and then I'll get killed. Or no, not killed, but I get hit. And I'm like, oh, maybe I should just not do it.
That's what you get for not growing up on the Super Nintendo, Sonny Jim.
I grew up
my day.
I grew up on PS1.
And that's your problem.
The PS1 had the better games.
No, it did not. I could get into a war with you over that statement, Stefan.
Hold on. I'm gonna stop you guys right there before we get into another console war, because let's not let that happen again, or at least not here. Anyway, so as you may have noticed, there's a bit of a more abundance in water levels, and as we're gonna see later, minecart levels. And like,
there's only 2 minecart levels, and there's only
3.
There's 3 minecart levels, which is 1 more than the last game, and there's there are a few more water levels, but they're shared. The water levels in this game aren't purely water levels for the most part. Some of them have aspects of land as well.
Isn't that level more like a water level and a fire level at the same time?
Yeah, it kind of combines elements of both. Like they're clever bastards over there at Rare. They sure do know their game design. Meanwhile, I hate this level. I don't like it.
You see, I haven't played this level in years simply because I also dislike it. I've never had trouble with it, but I just don't like it. But the thing is, I haven't played this level fully in years because I've memorized where all the warps are. There's a warp in every single level in the first 2 worlds, so if you want to play this game but just kind of want to skip the easy shit, you can just warp through the first 2 worlds. That's assuming you're not going for 102%, obviously.
Okay, Rambi didn't even hit that wasp.
Yeah, hit detection is a bit weird with
you're gonna die.
Animal buddies.
You have to keep in mind that they're pre-rendered sprites, and so, angles you think would be there probably aren't there, and so, everything, when it comes down to, the hitboxes, it all comes down to, actual boxes, possibly circles, but probably boxes of pixels, so
sense.
You're gonna get, weirdness, especially in a game like this, which has pre-rendered sprites as opposed to a lot of straight edges.
I like how Diddy was just kind of hanging on to Rambi like that.
Yeah.
Like, I'm the queen of the world.
That reminds me of a funny glitch in Donkey Kong Country 1, where you can take a barrel and through a glitch you can cause Rambi to become Donkey Kong, and so you can make Donkey Kong fuck himself. And it's the most hilarious juvenile thing ever, and I find it funny.
Oh man,
I've seen that.
Oh,
Yeah.
I wish I could have done. I wish I could have stuck that in somewhere in the playthrough, just like completely randomly, just completely ruin the flow of the episode. Whatever.
Am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? It is.
What are you seeing?
It is to know that like when you see that one of the Donkey Kong humping the other Donkey Kong.
Oh, okay.
It's like, am I seeing what I think I'm seeing? It is 2 Donkey Kongs.
Before I continue, that was a sweet move back there. I had to use the TNT barrel, or you're supposed to use the TNT barrel to destroy the above Zinger in order to get that DK coin, which I'll talk about in a second. But instead, I just did the team throw, which is another new addition here. And that's actually really useful. I like the team throw.
It's useful, but you have to use it carefully because if it hits an enemy, the character will, take a hit, which I think is kind of annoying. But you're lucky that if the character falls into a pit, it doesn't kill them off. And
I just want to also say that the reason I don't like this level very much is because it's so slow.
It is,
Look,
yes.
Diddy's juggling. He's juggling.
Yeah, the idle animations are cool. I must say I love Dixie's idle animation where she's just like drinking the juice box.
Yeah. It's
also,
cute.
She's walking on nothing right now.
Yeah, the player that you're not playing always has these weird freaking things that, I mean, if you were to do them while you were playing, you'd probably die. So it's always fun to see.
One
Squawk's shaft.
Yeah. One thing I want to talk about is something I can't remember, so continue.
Well, the DK coins, that's another thing that you need to do in order to 102% this game. You need to collect all the DK coins. And they're like rather large, so you can obviously tell what they are, and they have DK embedded in them.
Unlike Flame's dick.
Hashtag slander. But yeah, they can be deviously hidden sometimes. Like, for example, I think in the first this mine level, like the first one before this, it was hidden in a bonus room, like on the other side. So, like, not within the level itself, in a bonus room. So once again, clever bastards, Rare, clever bastards.
Oh yes, I remember what I was going to say. I was going to talk about the various ways of exiting a level. Basically, the end of each level has a sort of mini challenge. It's usually something like, hitting the target with from a barrel, like from a blast barrel or something.
Or at least from a high distance.
From a high distance, basically, in order to make the thingy meet the target and get an item. Sometimes it's actually required for like the DK coin and the G letter, and you can also get extra lives and stuff too. It's different in every level. You can also beat the level just by hitting the target just from any distance, but you won't get the item. But one thing that's really cool, and I'll probably get into this more when I talk about the music, is that both characters, at least when you get the item from the end of the level, has a unique theme. And not only that, each character's unique theme is unique to the level theme.
Yeah, they are.
So you'll hear some of the instruments from this level in the ending jingle, and even when you just get the regular, if you don't get the item at the end of the level, it still plays a variation of the level beating theme, just with like the level variation you're playing. So this one will have a mine sounding one.
Yeah, this is what I mean when I say that Rare put a lot more polish into this game. They did they had a set formula that worked in the first game, so I guess for this second one they did it again. They also designed new worlds and stuff, but they also just polished a lot of aspects, like for example what you just said, the music variety within the end levels.
One thing I want to say just before we talk about the boss actually is there's also a unique dying theme for every world.
Oh yeah.
Or for every level type. Anyway, this is Cleaver. You need to have reflexes in order to fight him, but I don't find him that difficult. In fact, I think this is my favorite boss fight in the game, just because you feel like a badass when you're avoiding him.
It's the evil knife from Super Mario RPG.
Yeah, that he went on to star in that game, little known fact. Word of advice, use Diddy Kong during the first phase and Dixie Kong in the second phase, because Dixie Kong, like with Donkey Kong, kind of holds the item that you're holding above her head, and this time you're using cannonballs. So, yeah. And he also gets rather vicious in the second phase, so be careful.
He does, but honestly, I can beat this just fine with only Diddy. Also, when I first played this game, I thought that the fiery death animation he had just there was like a fake out thing, like the egg viper or something.
He's gonna kill you with it. Oh, that would have ruined your perfect no-hit run, which I'm sure you did back then. But we will continue this no-hit run on the next episode of Donkey Kong Country 2, where we enter the swamp.